US President Donald Trump delayed the start of new tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a month. Now the pause comes after they struck last-minute deals to tighten border measures against the flow of migrants and the drug fentanyl. Trump said that the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has agreed to reinforce Mexico-US northern border with 10,000 National Guard members to stem the flow of illegal drugs. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that Canada will deploy nearly 10,000 frontline officers to help secure the border and list drug cartels as terrorists, appoint fentanyl SAR and crack down on money laundering. China says it would impose tariffs of 15% on imports of coal and liquefied natural gas from the United States. Earlier, Beijing hit back at Trump's decision to impose 10% tariff on Chinese imports. Now, China's UN ambassador Fu Kong said that the unwarranted increase was a violation of the World Trade Organization rules, and that's why China is filing a complaint. Fu said that Washington should look at the demand side of the fentanyl rather than shifting the blame onto others. The envoy comes after Trump paused tariff hikes on Mexico and Canada by 30 days. The US president said that talks between Washington and Beijing may be held in the next 24 hours to avoid new tariffs on Chinese imports. China's UN envoy has reacted to Panama's decision to let its participation in Beijing's global infrastructure plan expire. The ambassador said that the Belt and Road Initiative is an economic initiative and not a political one, while calling the move a regrettable decision. He also accused the US and other Western countries of a totally groundless smear campaign over the plan. The Chinese envoy's statement came as US President Donald Trump accused China of running the Panama Canal, saying the canal was given to Panama and not China. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order instructing the creation of a sovereign wealth fund within the next year, saying it could potentially buy the short Chinese video app TikTok. And if created, the Sovereign Wealth Fund could place the US alongside numerous other countries, particularly in the West Asia and Asia, that have launched similar funds as a way to make direct investments with government dollars. Now, meanwhile, China's US envoy Fu Kong said that United States and China should cooperate on AI and technology. He also added that fragmentation would only enhance risk and reduce benefits. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to travel to United States next week to meet US President Donald Trump. Sources have told WION that the expected dates of his US travel are from 12th to 14th February. The Indian Prime Minister travels to US from France following his participation in the Artificial Intelligence Summit. PM Modi will be the fourth leader to meet US President Trump since he returned to White House for a second term. As part of the ongoing crackdown on illegal immigration by Trump administration, a US military plane is deporting migrants to India. A report citing a US official said that the C-17 aircraft departed for India with migrants abroad and would not be arriving for at least 24 hours. Meanwhile, cities across America staged protests as part of a nationwide Day Without Immigrants. The protests are meant to highlight the critical contribution of immigrant labor, now from agriculture and beyond, in hopes of drawing attention to the ongoing struggles facing immigrant communities. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has confirmed that he is acting director of USAID after the humanitarian agency was taken over by the State Department. Rubio accused USAID of acting as if it were an independent, non-government entity, alleging that in many cases it was involved in programs that run counter to the national strategy. The developments came days after Trump's ally and Tesla CEO Elon Musk attacked the agency, calling it a criminal organization, and said that it was time for it to die. US President Donald Trump has demanded Ukraine to provide its rare earth minerals as a compensation for the vast military aid provided by Washington. Now, as the war rages on between Moscow and Kyiv, the US president said that Ukraine is willing to supply the rare earth minerals, while stressing on equalization for the near $300 billion military aid. However, there's no clarity on whether Trump's demand will include all critical minerals. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the country has received only 42% or $76 billion of the total $177 billion military aid provided by the US Congress. Ahead of the elections in Germany, leader of the Christian Democratic Union of Germany, CDU, Friedrich Merz has said that he will never work with the far-right party, the Alternative for Germany, AfD. Now, this comes after the centre-right opposition leader drew protesters from turning back migrants at its borders. Despite the criticism, Merz was unchanged on his stance on migration. Now, the CDU leader is currently leading in the latest opinion polls as well. US President Donald Trump has said that there's no guarantee that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold. This while adding that the negotiations with Israel and other countries in West Asia were progressing. The US President is all set to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is in Washington for discussions on a second phase of the truce with Hamas. On the other hand, a Hamas official reportedly said that the group has confirmed to the mediators that they are ready to begin talks on the details of the next phase. Another official said they are waiting for the mediators to initiate the next round. Israel continues its operations in the occupied West Bank. Videos released by IDF shows operations in Tulkarem. Now, meanwhile, in Lebanon, the Israeli military said that they have located and destroyed several weapon storage facilities in the country's south, where troops are continuing to operate even as the ceasefire enters the third month. Israel said soldiers had found mortar shells, missiles, rockets, and a large amount of military equipment belonging to Hezbollah, without providing evidence. Several students who took part in last year's uprising against ousted Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina staged a protest outside the residence of Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus. Now, these protesters were demanding better medical care and rehabilitation for those injured in last year's student-led uprising. Some protesters broke through police barricades, while others lay on the road near Yunus's official residence. Protesters say that a lot of students were injured in last year's protests are still suffering in hospital corridors with bullet wounds and amputated limbs. Now, ahead of the assembly elections in India's New Delhi, at least 30,000 police personnel have been deployed across the national capital. Authorities said that more than 200 companies of paramilitary forces have been deployed to ensure peaceful polling process across several districts. Law enforcement officials said that the nearly 3,000 polling booths have been identified as sensitive, while adding that security will be beefed up in the region with additional drone surveillance. Despite a marginal slump in footfall, India retained its top position as the largest contributor of foreign tourists visiting Nepal in January this year. The Nepal Tourism Board said that out of 80,000 foreign tourists that visited the country in January 2025, more than 20,000 were Indians. This is said that it was a percent decline. There was a 15% decline as compared to the same period last year, which saw a footfall of over 24,000 Indian tourists. On the contrary, the number of Chinese tourists visiting the country has significantly increased. According to the Nepal Tourism Board, over 8,000 Chinese tourists visited Nepal in January 2025, which is an uptick of over 12% as compared to the corresponding period last year. Authorities in Australia have warned of a long-haul recovery as floodwaters swamped scores of homes and caused incredible damage in eastern Australia. Storms dumped more than 59 inches of rain in parts of Queensland in the past week, engulfing homes, businesses and roads. According to the Premier, further north in Ingham, a rural town of about 45,000 people, the waters had likely flooded well north of 100 homes. Almost 8,000 properties were without power across North Queensland. According to the Digital Wellbeing Index survey by Snapchat, India is leading the Global Digital Wellbeing Index. Snapchat assessed the well-being of teenagers aged 13 to 17, young adults between 18 to 24, and parents of teenagers who are between the ages 13 and 19. Now, the social media platform conducted surveys in India, Australia, France, Germany, UK, and the US. As per the report, 78% of Indian Gen Zs sought support for online safety, up from 65% in 2023. Indian parents are leading the way in supporting their children's digital lives. Over 70% of Indian parents actively check in with their teenagers, the highest rate globally. However, the study also revealed a concerning trend. India recorded the highest rates of sextortion among the surveyed countries. Over 71% of respondents reported being sextorted, with 80% of those cases involving minors aged between 13 to 17. Ahead of the assembly elections in India's national capital, most Gen Z voters in Delhi are aware of candidates in their constituencies. New Delhi is all set to go on the polls on February 5th. According to a survey titled Gen Z's Tryst with Polls conducted by the 23 Watt Inside Studio, women's safety, unemployment and pollution are the main pressing issues for the Delhi youth. Around 74% of respondents believe that freebies matter and influence voters around the election. Meanwhile, social media continues to be the primary source of information, with over 35% of young Delhi voters getting election-related news online, following by independent blogs and websites. Asian tech stocks rose in early trade following news that the US President Donald Trump has paused tariffs on Mexico for a month, while also postponing tariffs on Canadian exports. Gains were broad-based across tech stocks in Japan, South Korea and Hong Kong, and came as their counterparts in the US cut their losses on Monday. Indian stocks opened higher as they tracked global cues. Analysts expect short-term volatility and consolidation in Indian markets, but remain upbeat on the country's long-term growth potential. The Canadian dollar, Mexican peso and euro were steady against the US dollar following a wild ride on Monday when they rebounded sharply from the multi-year lows, after US President Donald Trump suspended tariffs on Canada and Mexico by a month. The Chinese yuan was also held firm in offshore trading after recovering from a record trough overnight. The Australian dollar, which often acts as a liquid proxy for the yuan, was stable after rebounding from a nearly 5-year nadir. A Bloomberg report suggests that Salesforce is cutting more than 1,000 jobs as it simultaneously hires workers to sell new artificial intelligence products. Displaced workers will be able to apply for other jobs internally, according to the report. The report also added that it couldn't be determined which divisions the reductions were focused on. Japan's Toyota Motor is expected to post its second consecutive quarterly profit drop when it reports third quarter earnings on Wednesday. Analysts expect sales growth cooling after a strong run powered by hybrid vehicles. The world's best-selling automaker will likely deliver more than $9 billion in quarterly operating profit, as it is expected to have benefited from a shift to relatively high-margin hybrids from conventional petrol cars in the US. Still lower sales and output volumes have indicated a slight deceleration for Toyota. The expected decline follows a 20% profit drop in the previous quarter, marking a shift away from the record earnings streak Toyota enjoyed in the months prior to that.